Did you know there's a legal case from like 170 years ago that quietly shapes almost every single agreement we make today? Seriously, its ghost is in every contract, every promise. And the whole thing started with one broken piece of metal and a very, very late delivery.
So, let's put it in today's terms. Imagine you hire a courier for a simple next-day delivery. But for some reason, it's late, and that delay somehow costs your company $1 million. Is that courier on the hook for the entire massive loss? That's the exact kind of question we're diving into. To get to the bottom of this, we've got to go way back. We're talking Gloucester, England, 1854. Picture this bustling flour mill, the heart of the town, just chugging along day and night. But then, one day, silence. The familiar sounds of industry just stop. So what brought this whole operation to a grinding halt? You might be thinking it was some huge, dramatic disaster. Nope. It was one single vital piece of metal. The crankshaft for the steam engine just snapped. And without that one part, the engine's useless. And without the engine, well, the whole mill is basically dead in the water. Okay, so this is where our two key players come onto the scene. First, you've got the mill owner, a guy named Hadley. He is, as you can imagine, desperate to get this crankshaft fixed. And then there's the carrier he hires, a man named Baxendale. The job seems pretty straightforward. Take this broken part, get it to a repair shop, and bring it back, urgently. But, of course, this is where things go wrong. The delivery gets messed up, Baxendale's company makes a mistake, and that crucial crankshaft ends up just sitting there for several days. And every single day it sits, Hadley's mill stays silent. Just bleeding money, unable to produce anything. And we're not talking about a small inconvenience here. For Hadley, this delay was a total financial catastrophe, which should have been a pretty quick fix, spiraled into a massive loss of profits, all because of one late package. So Hadley does what anyone would do. He sued. He wanted Baxendale to pay for every single penny of profit he lost while the mill was down. And this is where the court had to ask a really tough question. Should Baxendale be responsible for these gigantic, unexpected losses when he had no clue that a delay would shut down an entire mill? All he knew was he was shipping a broken part.
So, to figure this out, the court created a brilliant legal idea called remoteness of damages. Just think of it like a fairness test. It basically asks, how far down a chain of dominoes is one person responsible? The court decided there has to be a cutoff point, and that point is foreseeability. What you could have reasonably predicted would happen.
And here's the genius part. The court broke it down into this simple two-part test. The first rule covers the obvious stuff, damages that would naturally happen, right? The kind of things anyone would expect. The second rule covers the special, unique damages, but, and this is the key, only if both people knew about the special circumstances when they made the deal. It's kind of like the heads-up rule. Since Hadley never gave Baxendale a heads-up that his whole mill depended on this one part, those huge lost profits just didn't fit.
So the court's final decision really boiled down to this one simple, powerful idea. You can't recover unusual losses if they weren't foreseeable. That one word, foreseeable, became the absolute key to this entire area of law. So the bottom line from this whole 170-year-old drama is actually pretty simple. The law draws a line in the sand. You are only on the hook for the consequences, for the dominoes that fall, that you could have reasonably seen coming when you made the promise. Anything beyond that is just considered too remote. And listen, don't for a second think this is just some dusty old case from the history books. This rule is everywhere today. It's baked into huge supply chain contracts. It decides what happens if a freelancer misses a deadline for a massive project launch. It's even hiding in the terms of service you click agree to without reading. It's everywhere.
And you know, at the end of the day, this rule isn't really about letting people off the hook. It's actually about encouraging us to be honest and clear. It pushes us to communicate. If the stakes are sky high, you got to say so up front. It makes sure everyone involved in a deal knows exactly what they're getting into.
So this old case leaves us with a really important question for today. The next time you make a promise or sign a contract, big or small, just stop and think for a second. What are the foreseeable consequences here? And maybe more importantly, what are the unexpected risks that nobody's talking about?